Are you a lacrosse player with a tight upper body? Then these are the exercises for you. Cal here from Relentless Lacrosse, and today we're going to go over the best mobility exercises for lacrosse players across their entire upper body. So a lot of lacrosse players, they're getting super tight. Not only are they sitting all day, whether it's in class or at school, but they're also getting super tight because they're spending a lot of time on the wall, they're shooting a lot, and that's a good thing, but we need to make sure that we're doing the maintenance work that actually lets us stay active and mobile in our upper body. So today we're going to go over some of our favorites, not only just through the shoulder area, which can often get tight in lacrosse players, but through the chest and neck as well. Let's dive in. All right, so for this exercise, we're going to be using the band for the shoulder dislocator. We want to make sure that we're not too far out, but we're making sure that we're creating as much release as we can through that upper body here. So this is something where we could get tighter and closer and maybe only get to around here, but wherever we are, make sure that we're actually getting as far back as we can and back. So you could do this also with a lacrosse stick, but we find the band is a lot easier because it lets us create a little bit more tension through that chest area, making sure that we're not rounding up, but we're actually feeling that release. I feel it huge through that delt area into that pec minor, but maybe if you're tight to that chest, you'll feel it there specifically. Go for around 10 reps here and really focus on relaxing in that end range and really try and reclaim some movement here. All right, so a lot of lacrosse players are getting super tight through their lats here, and so this is a problem area that we can quickly address with the band here and some sort of pull. So obviously we're out here on the field, which is awesome. We're just gonna hook this to some sort of pull. This could be a lacrosse net. In our case, we're just using the field goals, but for us, we're gonna be hooking it in, doing a J hook, and then basically just sinking back into it. So I'll demo this side, but essentially what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be creating a longer line basically from our shoulder through our hips. So I'm gonna start here, and then I'm gonna actually be walking my hip kind of back. So I'm rocking into it. I'm taking a half second here, I'm holding, and I'm feeling that entire pull basically right through my rib cage into that gnarly little shoulder area. So I'm gonna relax in here, hold, let go, and then try and sink in a little bit more every single time. So this is an awesome area to basically just hang out in. I'll often sit through here, try and take deep breaths, really open up those intercostals, relax, and then kind of just find deeper spots every single time. But we wanna make sure that we're creating an intentional line right through that area and really opening it up. Get in here for around, we could call it 30 seconds or even 10 to 15 breaths, however you want to measure it, but take some time here to really relax and try and open up those ribs and try and open up that lat. All right, so another problem area for lacrosse players is through that chest, especially through that pec minor that attaches basically our chest right into that upper shoulder area, and it can get super tight, especially if we're shooting a lot. It tends to get just tighter and tighter and tighter until we actually have some sort of pain through that shoulder, and so releasing through the chest can often release a lot of shoulder pain. So I'm going to use my band here. I'm going to J-hook it, kind of pulling it around and through, but I want to get it a little bit higher than my body here and make sure that it's nice and tight. So once I have it and I'm squeezing in here, I'm just going to be having it completely back, and then I'm taking my body and trying to get as straight as I can here. So it's basically trying to pull me back. Right now I feel this not only just through that kind of pec area where everything attaches, but also into my bicep and through my forearm, which is amazing. I want to be able to feel this exercise wherever's tight. And then I'm just going to basically be rocking back, hanging out here. And so this is somewhere I could hang out for around 30 seconds. I want to add some movement. I hate doing exercises just statically where we're just going to hold things. I find the body responds super well to some sort of movement and mobility. So as I'm kind of releasing through here, I'm going to rock my hand around, kind of rotate my thumb basically up and down, making sure that I'm basically just trying to rotate that ball in that socket for our shoulder and trying to create as much mobility as possible there. Then I'll release and then try and get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Again, find some rotation here. I'll feel this through my, basically right from my chest into my upper body, or into my forearm, and that's the goal. Is let's just try and create some release here through that entire chest region. Hang out here for anywhere between 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Really focus on kind of slowing down and finding areas that feel a little restricted. Hang out there a little bit extra, and then let go and release. All right, guys, so our next exercise here is going to be releasing through that chest and again through that shoulder region. We want to create some overhead extension here, and so this is a place where we can often get tight for lacrosse players, and it's not only just a mobility focus, but it's actually going to let us shoot harder. The more we can increase that overhead range, the more torque we can get into a shot, and so it's important to actually be releasing some of the stuff and making sure that we're not only enhancing our tissue quality here, but actually creating an active release and reclaiming some of this range. So in our case, we're going to use a lacrosse stick here, and I'm just going to be sinking in as much as I can and creating that kind of straight line right from my hip to getting overhead. So I want to try and get my hand actually past my ears every single time, so it's well past my head, and then I'm creating a release. So I'm going to do this actively. I'm going to be pushing down. It's going to pull me I'm trying to get my chest down to the ground, and then I'm gonna be pushing in with that same arm. So I wanna make sure it's active so I get that activation, and then through here I can release down. So for me specifically, as I'm doing this, I feel it in this region right here, the upper lat area, which is super tight on me and is common for a lot of lacrosse players, is as I'm getting down here, right here feels that pull. So I wanna make sure I'm kind of just sinking in there, release and relax, and then let go. This is an awesome exercise to do actively. Make sure you're getting that flex in for around 10 reps, and you'll immediately release that entire region. All right, guys, so this next mobility exercise is all about that T-spine, that upper back area that often gets restricted, and not only lacrosse players, but a lot of athletes. I'm gonna use my lacrosse stick here again. I could do this without a stick, but I really find that the stick takes it to the next level. And then I'm gonna be getting into something we call T-spine extension. So I'm gonna get my elbows down on the turf, get them away from my body. I'm gonna get my thumbs outside of my elbows here, and then I'm basically just gonna be sinking down and having a strong pullback. I'm trying to get this stick to actually touch my shoulders. Now this creates a huge release. My goal here is in my upper back is to create that kind of see the opposite direction, but I'm also seeing how much release I can get by sinking my chest down. So for my case, I feel this not only in that upper back region, but also through that lat area. And so you'll feel this wherever it's tightest, but we find that a lot of lacrosse players, as they sink through here, they're actually creating a massive release through their upper back. They're flexing down here, holding for a half second, and then coming back down. So we want to make sure that we're getting that active movement through that upper back, creating a bunch of tension here, letting go. And so the more we can get in that area and create that extension through that upper back. So if we consider this as flexion, we're trying to get that upper back the opposite way, really create some extension through here. It is a massive release for lacrosse players, and it's really going to take that entire release through the upper back. All right, guys, this next exercise is all about T-spine rotation. It's actually about creating that rotation, that upper back, that not only helps us actually move better and more efficiently, but also lets us create some extra range when we're shooting. And so that's super valuable for lacrosse players. We're going to be using a lacrosse stick here again, and we're actually going to be having kind of a sink in. So I'm taking this lacrosse stick, I'm taking it out beside my body, and then I'm going to basically take my shoulder to the turf here. So I want to create that extra kind of rotation through my upper back. I want to make sure that it's not all in my lower back, which is natural to try and find some of it down there. We often have much more mobile lower backs, but our upper back, we want to try and create as much rotation as we can, and then let go. So this is something we have to be doing actively. Really get down there, try and create some release, and then head over to the other side as well. Again, outside my body, I'm trying to drop that shoulder down and release through that upper back area to create as much rotation as possible. This is something that as we can try and increase, we're gonna find so much performance gains, and we're also just gonna start to feel better through that upper body. All right, guys, so our next exercise here is gonna be getting through that front area of the shoulder, that anterior delt, right in to that pec minor and that chest area. And this is an exercise we find huge release in through that entire anterior of the upper body. So I'm gonna get once I'm laying flat, I'm gonna get one arm straight out beside me. This is super important that it's not below me, it's either slightly above to get a little bit more of that kind of anterior delt, or it's straight out beside me. And then I'm just gonna be pushing up with my opposite arm. This exercise, we really wanna make sure that we're pushing into the ground and actually creating that release from the front of that shoulder. So this exercise is gonna create a huge release wherever you're tightest. For me, it's actually through that anterior delt. So I feel this super strongly through this entire region, which is awesome. This is what I want. But for some players with a super tight chest, they'll feel it there. And either way, we wanna make sure that we're pushing up, we're holding for around 3 to 5 seconds, and we're letting go. So this isn't a super long hold, but we are trying to increase that range every time. Now you could take this and actually make it a little bit more deliberate through that shoulder. I would take my hand up a little bit. You could either do it at a 40 or just kind of go from your T position to a little bit more ahead, and then just again open up again. So this is actually not only pulling through that delt region for me, but actually into my bicep as well. So a common problem area for lacrosse players. And so this is an awesome exercise to just get active and get intentional, increasing that mobility in this region. Just focus on opening up, release, and then let go. We want to get around 5 to 6 reps here of every side, really focusing on getting a deliberate release. All right, so we've got a second variation here that really takes the stretch to the next level. Not only do we have our slide, our flip, our lift, but now we're gonna take our hand to our opposite shoulder blade and hold here. I'm actually gonna try and see how far can I reach back, basically as if I'm trying to touch my opposite hip, but I'm gonna get to around my shoulder blade. I'm gonna hold here for a half second, and then I'm gonna let go. So this is gonna get actually through those rotator cuff muscles, and we'll often find that as I'm creating that reach and I'm actually getting forceful through it, we're gonna have a little bit of a cramp to that entire like posterior rotator cuff area, and it's gonna create a huge release. So this is something we wanna do active. We wanna reclaim a range, and especially those end ranges. I hit an end range, I'm trying to get a little more forceful. I'm trying to get an end range here, gonna get a little bit more forceful. This is gonna create a massive release through those shoulders, start to restore some function and some tissue quality, and take your mobility to the next level. All right, so those are some of our favorite upper body mobility exercises for lacrosse players. And this stuff matters, whether it is performance gains where you can create a little extra range and start shooting harder, or just to restore some function and mobility to your upper body. This is the stuff that translates to being a better lacrosse player when it counts. And so we recommend that all of our players, whether it's at home watching Netflix, just hanging out, or after practice, pre-game, anytime, to be working on some of this stuff to really make sure that they're developing a healthy and mobile body. If you're looking for more lacrosse training content, head over to relentlesslacrosse.com. We have tons of different training articles, videos, and workout programs specifically designed for lacrosse players. Get out there and get after it.